Hey guys, it is me, Jalen Smith, your host of the Mental Health Minute. I guess from the title, today is about my experience seeing the Black Panther movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, so there are no spoilers in this video. And if you have not had a chance, please check down below, hit the subscribe button because it's absolutely imperative that you keep up to all the things that are going on in my mental health journey so that perhaps I can help you in your mental health journey. So first of all, let me give my review. Black Panther movie was lit, okay? If you've never seen um, the Black Panther movie, if you haven't seen it, you haven't gotten a chance to see it, I say go see it. It's definitely a fantastic movie, and I'm really excited that I went just so that I can show you. Do you have my stuff? Yes, you can't see it too much. Let me see. Bam, there it goes. Black Panther, PG-13. Did see that today. And of course, I went matinee because my lifelong dream doesn't bring home a check. Anyway, just wanted to kind of give you that information, let you know that the movie was fantastic. I did enjoy it. Yes, I did go in a head wrap. And I have on my Zamunda shirt, even though it's about Wakanda, because I didn't have daishiki. And had I had one, I definitely would have gone out 100% full fledged cultural African gear. Just would have did it. But let me tell you why it's important to tell you that I saw the movie. Some of you may or may not know. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it in past videos or not, but I actually have anxiety disorder, and one of my triggers is movies. Now, some movies are okay. Children's movies are generally okay for me. Um, yeah, children's movies or movies where I understand the plot, so that if they're historical, like the last movie that I went to the theater to go see would have been Selma, and that one was okay because I knew exactly what happened. It's historical fact. Now, whether they added in or deleted any pieces of the details regarding that really didn't matter. The bottom line is I knew what would happen. I knew Dr. King didn't die in Selma, so we were good. The reason why movies are a trigger, and let me tell you why. I had a traumatic experience, and I'll try not to get too emotional sharing it, although it does really bring up a lot in me. I actually used to go to movies quite often with members of one of my church's formers. So, probably about 7, 8 years ago, I would still go to movies. And some of you may or may not know, I was raped and became pregnant with my oldest daughter. And I love my oldest daughter to death. Never had any doubts about having my pumpkin pie. Bottom line is, though, being raped obviously was traumatic. It wasn't, I don't think you can ever describe, rather, rape as something that is something you just get over. You know, there is a process to dealing with trauma, there is a process to healing, and everything has timing. Well, I had been going to movies. I really didn't like movies, sitting in the dark. Those things kind of made me uncomfortable, but they weren't too debilitating. However, what happened was I never watched scary movies. I've always been terrified of them ever since I was a child. I do not watch them, don't go to them, still will not watch them. I just don't think I should pay money to scare myself. Not my cup of tea. But that's not the point. The point is, I don't do scary movies or films where the theme is overall terrifying on purpose. Well, the movie that was out, and I don't know how long ago it was, you could check me if you want. It's called The Hills Have Eyes, and basically it's some sort of horrible film where these people are in like the desert. I want to say somewhere around like Nevada, like Area 51 type place, and they're stranded, and these monsters and creepy, human beings that are like half monster, mutated kind of weird, creepy people live, and they're held captive. Well, there's a rape scene in that movie, and the first thing that happened was when we get to the theater, I was clear that I did not want to see that movie with my group of friends. Did not want to see it. Did not want to go to it. Had no desire. Well, I made a mistake. I went to the restroom, and while I was in the restroom, everyone bought the movie tickets, and just come on, we're fine, whatever. Let's just go. and shielded me from the fact that we were watching The Hills Have Eyes. I realized it as we were walking towards The Hills Have Eyes, the actual theater itself, where you go in to sit and watch the movie. It usually has the name of the movie and the time listed on there. And I'm like, we're not watching The Hills Have Eyes. I don't want to see it. Well, we already bought the tickets, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna leave. They convinced me to stay. Bad decision. They took me into the movie, and I was already terrified. I hated the movie. I was scared the entire time. I was having trouble breathing. I was puffing my inhaler, which now I know is anxiety attacks. And then the rape scene happened, and I ran out of the theater crying and having one of my most memorable panic attacks I've ever had in my life. And then I decided I would just go back in and finish the rest of the movie. And I did. I finished the movie. The next week, we went on a road trip through a very deserted kind of area. And it brought back flashbacks for me of the movie that really placed it so I didn't want to ever go to the theater again. Now I don't trust the people that I went to the theater with, and I don't trust movies. So I'm triggered by both. Of course, I don't go to that church anymore. That's not why, actually. I still am in communication with those people, and I love them. And, we still share ministry moments and personal moments and life moments together. But I will not go to the movies with any of those human beings. Will not do it. And I haven't really been to a theater since. I can still kind of watch movies, but just the paralyzing fear that comes from watching a movie in the theater is really overwhelming. And those of you who have anxiety attacks know that they can be a lot to deal with emotionally, mentally, just physically. You cannot move. And so I decided, because I've been doing so well on my mental health journey, that it was time to go see a movie. And what better movie than to reintroduce myself back into movies than to go see something that was empowering to people of color, that was amazing. It had amazing, previews. Everyone was going to see it. Of course, I want to see this movie, like in person. I'm going to the theater. Now, because I have anxiety disorder, I plan to see this movie as a matinee, which I did. I did go during the middle of the day when there were less people. So, now it's like less of a struggle to go. I did take my medication last night because you know what? I know that I have to go and do this thing in the morning. And on the way to the theater, I was in a panic attack. I was. And I took deep breaths. I did my grounding techniques. I did breathing 747. And, I was like, I'm going to do this. And I asked for the movie theater, the time with shaky hands. And I went into the theater and I clutched my purse pretty much the entire time. And I breathed and I closed my eyes and I took deep breaths and I said, I'm going to do this. And I finished the movie. Now, for some of you who have never had anxiety or anxiety disorder, that may not seem like a big deal, but for me, it's very empowering. I'm really grateful to God because at this point, I know that I'm on a place in my mental health journey where I have to be able to do things that may seem a little bit challenging. So first it was, if you've seen backwards, letting Shimon surprise me with the red hair. And I don't think I've had any real surprises since, but holding information and surprising others has been a little bit easier since that day. And now I wonder if I can go back to the movies, and I may be able to go in small steps and with small doses. So for you, if you're out there and you're having something that you haven't been able to do, I really challenge you to take what you learn from breathing techniques, from coaching, from your therapist, and really take that and go out and try something in a controlling, safe environment. For me, I did go see the movie, but it was important that the environment not be chaotic. I didn't go on opening night where there are hundreds and hundreds of people who are in line to see this movie because that would have just added to my anxiety. I don't really have social anxiety disorder. However, still, in the middle of a panic attack, having 100 people breathing on you, probably not the best thing. I went during the day when there would be less people in the theater, where I would have more room, where I could acknowledge every person that kind of walked in and take those moments to really do what needed to be done, to pray, to breathe. And going to the theater is a victory for me. And it's a victory for those of you who haven't gone to the theater in a very long time. I challenge you to really go and do something that scares you a little bit. And maybe you will find that you can turn something like a really negative trigger into something positive. But some of these triggers are really realistic for you. They are things that warn you of impending danger, but others are triggers based on a traumatic experience. And if you can turn that experience around to something positive, then that's a win. So today, I thank Black Panther for not only highlighting people of color in the most amazing and beautiful way I've ever seen in my life, but also for being the moment for me where I could face a trigger that had been really stopping me from enjoying a big, giant part of life. So, for those of you who are not subscribed, again, I say subscribe, be well. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And go see Black Panther.